tonight's Carousel House Rebuild Design Workshop. My name is Donna Griffin with Community Capacity Builders, and we're one of the several rebuild design team members working on the Carousel House Rebuild project. I use the pronoun she, her. I'm an African-American woman wearing red eyeglasses. My dark brown hair is pulled back and I'm wearing a black shirt with a multicolored floral scarf around my neck. To help us understand who's attending tonight's meeting and to keep you informed about Carousel House Rebuild meetings and updates, may I ask that you sign in tonight by sharing your name, email address, and zip code in the chat. Another way to sign in is to click on the blue chat link that will direct you to a sign-in form where you can share your name, email, and zip code. Feel free to choose the sign-in method that is most comfortable for you. And thanks in advance for signing in. Last October, I had the pleasure of meeting many of you when Rebuild hosted a number of small group meetings, a public virtual meeting, and an in-person meeting at Gustine Recreation Center. Our sole goal for these meetings was to introduce you to the Carousel House Rebuild design team members, share a projected timeline for building the new inclusive community recreation center, and to present our guests an opportunity to ask the Rebuild design team members and parks and recreation staff questions ahead of beginning tonight's public design process. If you were unable to attend the October meetings, don't worry. This evening, we will briefly share the Carousel House Rebuild goals and timeline and reintroduce you to the design team. Tonight's meeting is the first of many public design workshops in which we hope to understand your preferences for the new Community Recreation Center in West Park. The new rec center will continue to accommodate the disability community as well as support the East and West Parkside neighborhoods where residents lack public indoor recreational spaces. In addition to reintroducing you to the Carousel House Rebuild goals, the design team, and timeline this evening, we aim to get your feedback to understand community priorities for designing the physical space of this brand new facility. We'll begin with a welcome from the Rebuild and Parks and Recreation leaders, followed by a presentation led by the Carousel House Rebuild architects. Afterwards, we'll divide all participants into small breakout rooms to begin a process of asking you questions that will help our team prioritize the new building's physical spaces. So just a few ground rules. Please keep your microphone muted during the presentation. At the end of the presentation and during the breakout sessions, you may unmute and speak to share your thoughts and questions. You may also use the chat feature to ask questions and share ideas throughout the meeting. Tonight's meeting is supported by Megan Toomey and Carrie Patterson, our American Sign Language interpreters. For those individuals who prefer to use closed captioning, click on the CC button at the bottom of your screen to view the live transcript. You will have an option to choose show subtitles or view full transcript. And now that you know the ground rules and what to expect for this evening's workshop, it is my pleasure to pass the mic to Rebuild's Executive Director, Kira Strong.
Thank you, Donna. Hello, everyone. My name is Kira Strong, Executive Director of Rebuild, here with members of the fabulous Rebuild team and our partners at Parks and Rec. I identify as she, her, and I am tall with long brown hair. I am absolutely thrilled to be here tonight. I'm going to keep this very, very brief, but we see some familiar faces and some new faces, and that's exciting because we are just so proud and pleased that this project is part of Rebuild, and couldn't be happier about the strong partners we have here. So thank you all for taking time tonight to be here, to participate, to give your voice to this project. I do want to give a quick shout out. I think I saw Senator Tartaglione on the meeting, on the call. Thank you for joining and your support of this project. And also, I believe Josh is here on behalf of Councilman Jones' office, might say a few words as well. So, but again, thank you most all of you who are here to lend your voice. And with that, I think, Donna, do I pass it to Catherine?
Yes, please, Kira.
Best partner in the world here, Catherine Ottlevel, the Commissioner of Parks and Rec.
Likewise, thanks, Kira. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Good evening. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces and names, and I'm really excited for tonight's meeting. This is a big night for us, and it's a big night for the future of this, what I hope is going to be one of the most amazing recreation centers in the city, if not the world. We are really excited to spend this time with all of you, to hear from you about your vision and your ideas and thoughts about how we want to see this beautiful new facility designed, and just thrilled with the turnout. This is an amazing turnout of people. I'm looking at the participants, over 80 people here tonight. You guys, there's so much so many other places you could be, so many other things that you could be doing, you know, and you chose to be here, and that says so much about this project, about your commitment to this project. And I'm really, really excited to see tonight happen, and excited to see this project move forward. It's been a long time, but it's finally happening, and just really, really, really grateful to everybody. Also want to thank Kira and her team, everybody at Rebuild, certainly our wonderful team at Parks and Recreation, the wonderful design team. We have just an incredible design team on this project. I think I feel so confident in their ability to, you know, just make this vision come to life. And I'm so excited. Jules and his team at Digsaw and the team at Pacifico, just so many great, great individuals involved in this process, and I thank them. I also want to give a shout out to Senator Tartaglione, who's been a great advocate of, you know, certainly this project, but to be honest, all parks and recreation spaces in her district and beyond. So thank you, Senator, for being on this call tonight as well. Wonderful to have you here. So great. Who am I kicking it to? Donna, do you pick it back up?
I think we'll kick it to Josh.
Hey, Josh. Well, let me kick it to Josh then. Josh Cohen is the Chief of Staff at our Councilmember Curtis Jones' office, and Josh is absolutely no stranger to Parks and Recreation. We speak to Josh very frequently because, as the council member likes to say, over 60% of Parks and Recreation land is in his district, in the 4th Councilmanic District. We are thrilled to have you here tonight, Josh. Take it away.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Kira. Thank you to the Rebuild team and the Department of Parks and Recreation. On behalf of Council Member Jones, who unfortunately cannot make tonight's virtual session, but will be at the in-person session at Gustine on Thursday, we are enormously thrilled to participate in tonight's session. We are thrilled we proudly host the Carousel House in the 4th Councilmanic District. We are looking forward to this process and the design, and most of all, the input from all of, looks like 87 participants at tonight's session. And for those who can't make it and we'll see on Thursday, or who will, you know, give us their input at some point along the way, We are looking forward to it. So again, thank you, and I look forward to tonight. I'm not sure who I'm supposed to give it to, but I guess I'll give it back to Donna. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Josh. And so I'm going to turn it over to Amanda.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much again for being here with us. My name is Amanda Colon-Smith, and I'm the Community Engagement Director for Rebuild. I'm an African-American woman wearing green glasses that match my green shirt. And I'm going to do a recap for anyone who was not able to join us in the fall when we introduced the project. So just to review the project goals here for the rebuild project at Carousel House is consisting of replacing the existing building with a new facility that will retain all of the former programming and be inclusive for all. Our commitment, alongside with Parks and Rec, as we develop this project, is to acknowledge the community history, to engage the community in the design process, and to make sure that these dollars are invested intentionally. Go to the next one. The typical rebuild project timeline is shown here on the slides, going through 6 stages. In the fall, we started with learning, where we got to meet some of you, and we'll continue to learn along the way. Next, we move into a draft design. The draft design process will involve us talking through the core elements of the new building and site. Next, we will continue to refine that design and bring you along and hear your voices through all the details. In the 4th step, construction drawings are done that will go out to bid. A big part of the rebuild process is inclusion and diversity in our contracting. And so that will also be a part as we get ready for stage 5 in construction. Rebuild projects in construction range between 12 and 18 months. And with the size of this project, we think that we'll be on that 18-month side. But after all this hard work, we'll be very excited at stage 6 to reopen this facility and celebrate with you all. Next slide. As we work together and get to know you, and you get to know us, I will do a recap now of the different team members that you'll get to know as we work on this process. From the rebuild team, I am introduced myself, Amanda, as the Community Engagement Director. We also have Heather McLean, who was our Community Engagement Manager. She's waving. She has on a red shirt tonight and glasses as well. And we have Kara Meadow, who you'll also hear from tonight. Next slide. On the design team, we have Jigsaw and Studio Pacifica as an amazing and wonderful architecture and design team who have done projects all over Philadelphia, and they will also be in our breakout sessions tonight for you to talk more in depth with them on the design, as well as Studio Pacifica with Karen Breitmeyer and her team, who are a specialized practice in universal design. Next slide. And of course, the Community Capacity Builders team. Donna, Jenny, Meg, and Marangeli have been wonderful in reaching out to some of you. And if you haven't gotten a chance to know them yet, again, you'll meet them tonight throughout the process. Right, and I think I turn it over to Kara Meadow from our team, project manager from Rebuild.
And again, I'm Kara Meadow. I use she, her pronouns. I am a white woman with glasses and medium left brown hair.
I'm looking for my name on the sucker.
She's not near you, Michelle.
To ask people to mute. Thank you. So I'm going to walk this group through what is currently on the site at Carousel House right now, both the building and the site elements, and talk a little bit about where it is in the city of Philadelphia. If we could go to the next slide, please. So this slide shows 2 images. The image on the left is identifying Carousel House within the context of the city of Philadelphia and also other recreation centers in the immediate area. The star and the red box shows us where Carousel House is within the city. It's on the southern edge of West Fairmount Park. And given other recreation centers nearby, Parkside Evans is to the west of Carousel House, and Claiborne Lewis is to the right of Carousel House. And again, there is, you can see on the image on the right, it's within West Fairmount Park, and there is immediate neighborhood to the south of the site. We can go to the next slide. On this slide, we're a little bit zoomed in. We can see that the Carousel House site is at the intersection of Avenue of the Republic, Belmont Avenue, and South Concourse Drive in West Fairmount Park. The facility is the round building in the middle of the site for those folks who have not been to the site or are not familiar. The area shaded in pink on the left is an existing garden. The areas shaded in purple are driveways and parking areas. The loop here on the right in blue is an asphalt walking loop, walking track. The blue rectangle on the bottom on the right is a playground. And there are landscape areas, trees, and some outside storage spaces for the farm and for the Carousel House facility. We can go to the next slide. So for those who are familiar with the site and those who may have driven past, it's visible from the outside, from the streets. There's a playground on the southeast corner of the site. There are some little kid areas, as you can see on the image on the right. It's a picture of a play structure that's shaped like a vehicle. In the center image, there's an image of the playground that's on site. It has a lot of inclusive elements, but was probably constructed a number of years ago. It has some ramps, it has some slides, it has some tactile elements. And then there is an existing walking loop as shown on the image on the right. It's asphalt with 3 lanes. We can go to the next slide. For folks who have not visited or are not familiar, there is a very large productive farm on the Carousel House site. It's run by Farm Philly. In the past, when the facility was open, rec center participants were able to participate in garden activities, and the food harvested at the farm here is distributed to the local community and is used for inclusion in a community supported agriculture program. We can go to the next slide. So this slide talks about the existing indoor spaces at Carousel House. There's a floor plan with colors on it on the left of this slide. There's a diagram on the right, which talks about the existing spaces in a different format. The way the spaces are shown on the right will be shown in future slides when we talk about potential proposed new spaces in the new building. The colors represent different types of spaces. So the large yellow space in the center of both of these images is the basketball gym. The blue are spaces associated with the pool. The purple spaces are program spaces like classrooms and multi-purpose rooms. Oh, I'm sorry, the orange are classrooms. I believe the purple are special program rooms, such as arts and crafts, a game room, ceramics, a kitchen. And the gray areas are things like hallways, closets, storage spaces. And the green are offices. If we go to the next slide. These are images of some of the spaces for whom participants of the Carousel House past programming are likely familiar with. The image on the left is an image of the existing gym in the Carousel House building, being used for basketball, wheelchair basketball. The image in the center is an image of the existing fitness and weight room with equipment for weightlifting and sports training in the center. And then the image on the right is a picture of the gym at the existing Carousel House building being used for a larger event or a multi-purpose type of program. There's a picture of people sitting at a table eating food and drink and socializing. This next slide is pictures of other types of indoor spaces at the current Carousel House building. The image on the left is an image of the existing horse sculpture, which we know is very beloved by the existing Carousel House community. The center image is a picture of the pool in the existing Carousel House building. And the picture on the right is a picture of the existing ceramics room at the Carousel House, and it's full of shelves with lots of ceramics projects that are waiting to be painted. And now I believe I am turning this over to Jules to talk about the proposed spaces in the new Carousel House project.
Hi, Kara, this is Jeff. I'm gonna take this one. Everyone, I'm Jeff Goldstein. I use he, him pronouns. I am an architect, and one of the designers of the project. And I'm speaking for Jules, who's here. I'm speaking for Sarah, and I'm speaking for Karen, all of whom are in attendance. And we'll be meeting each of you in our breakout sessions. I am going to help familiarize everyone with what's being talked about for the new facility. And the intent is that in our breakout sessions, it will be a chance for you to each share your ideas about how these spaces can support the activities and programs at the new Carousel House. On the left, we're looking at a diagram that Kara just shared with us that shows the relative size of all the pieces of the current Carousel House. On the right is the same diagram, this time showing what is being discussed for this new Carousel House. This new facility, as you can see, is much larger than the existing. We see the gym almost doubled in size. We see the swimming facility quadrupled in size. We see more classrooms. We see more specialized rooms like those Kara just discussed. We'll go through each of these, and we have a breakout group that you will have a chance to discuss and talk about each of these spaces in your breakout groups. The first thing that we'll discuss is the entry and the lobby. These images show accessible, welcoming entrances with places to gather on the outside, to wait for friends, to step outside and enjoy the nice weather. On the next slide, we see a system of doors that's self-operating to make it easy to move from inside to out. And we see a reception desk in a generously sized lobby that allows enough room for friends to hang out, for parents and caregivers to wait, for their children to finish with their programs, and a general social center for the building. On the next slide, we see a reception desk whose intention is to be welcoming to anyone who comes into the facility, alongside activities such as table tennis, card tables, or other games that could be played out in the open. On the next slide, we'll look at the gym. What we're talking about here is a space large enough for 2 regulation basketball courts that could be used simultaneously, or when bleachers come down, could be used to seat a large crowd for those important games. On the next slide, We see other ways that that space can be used besides basketball. A true love of mine, by the way. We see a community dinner. We see gymnastics. We can imagine dances, gatherings, science fairs, any type of activity that can be done in a large space. And we want to hear from you what types of activities you think should happen in this premier gymnasium. On the next slide, we're going to talk about a recreational loop. Kara showed us the existing track that is outside the current Carousel house. Here, what we're talking about is a fitness and recreational loop inside the building. On the left, we see 2 users in wheelchairs on a colorful indoor track. On the right, we see what looks like a hallway that's extra wide with seating down the center and painted lines like a track on the left. On the next slide, we get a sense of how a recreational loop might move through the building, connecting different spaces, allowing for use on a day of any weather, and being used as a social, in addition to recreational element. On the next slide, we see how such a loop can be integrated with fitness equipment, can allow views of spaces like the gym and like the pool, and can even happen inside the gymnasium, as we see on the right. Another space we want to hear from you about is the aquatic center. What we're talking about for this project is both a lap pool for training, as well as an activity pool. We see it on this slide, pools that allow for direct entrance without steps or ladders. We see pools in various shapes with different depths, and apparatus that allows for different types of activities and games. On the next slide, we get a sense of how these pools can accommodate games, rehabilitation, exercise, fitness, and competition. On the next slide, we see a locker room. And in these images, the locker room is spacious with clear space in front of the changing areas. It's intended to be inclusive, comfortable, and safe. On the next slide, we see a unique wheelchair storage cabinet in a precedent locker room. And again, a sense of spaciousness not always associated with typical locker rooms. And finally, on the next slide, we see individual changing stalls and accessible showering stalls. And of course, we see a floor surface that's easy to navigate without any steps or depressions. And finally, we're looking at the classrooms and multi-purpose rooms. These spaces are intended to host a wide range of activities and programs, from after-school homework sessions to arts and crafts, from community meetings to computer stations. All these images are showing examples at similar facilities across the country. This slide shows those same types of spaces now being used for music, for exercise, like fitness classes and yoga. And we want to hear from you. What else, what other activities need to be thought about as we design this facility? So everything we just shared from you was intended to get you thinking. And we hope to hear from you in these breakout sessions, ideas that you have, things that you liked, things that you were hoping to see and didn't see. All of this is really helpful for us as we plan this new facility. Donna, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Great. And so I think the next steps are to send folks to breakout rooms. So you should see an invite, or I'll have Jenny, who probably can explain it to everyone better than I can. Jenny, are you available?
I am, yeah. Thanks, Donna. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny Chen. I'm an Asian American woman in my 30s with long black hair, and I'm with the Community Capacity Builders team, and we're really excited to be supporting engagement for this project. So since we did all of the talking during the first part of this meeting, we want to switch gears now to really listen and learn from you all. So we're going to be putting you all into breakout rooms where you're going to have a chance to ask questions and share ideas. And so there's going to then, in your breakout room, be 6 discussion rounds that Rebuild team members will take you through while you're in your breakout room. And you'll be covering each of these 6 different topics. So Jeff, who you just heard from, will lead you in a discussion about the new facility spaces and programs, focusing on the gym, pool, and locker rooms. And Jules is going to be leading a similar discussion, but focusing on the classrooms and multipurpose rooms, the fitness room, and the ceramic and arts room. Meg and Sarah are going to lead you through an activity to think about the layout of the new facility and which rooms should go next to each other. Karen and Heather are going to discuss the new facility's accessibility features. Kara will ask you about the outdoor spaces. I saw a question in the chat about that farm. Angie and Amanda want to learn from you about how you might get to the new facility. So how's this going to work? First, after I'm done speaking, you're going to be placed in a breakout room with other participants, and you're going to be in that same breakout room during the whole second half of this meeting before we wrap up. And our Rebuild staff person is going to join you in your breakout room to lead one of the 6 discussion topics for 10 minutes. And after each 10-minute discussion round, you'll be joined by a different Rebuild staff person who will lead you in a different topic. So it's a little bit like virtual speed dating. You'll be staying in your breakout rooms and then be joined by a different Rebuild team member who will get to know you and others in your room, and also get your thoughts about the new facility. So that means by the end of the hour, you and your breakout room will have had the chance to share your ideas and priorities for each of the 6 topics I just mentioned. And you'll be able to join the discussion in your breakout room by typing in the chat or unmuting to speak, just like you all do in this main room. And just so we all can get to know each other better, please remember to share your name before you begin speaking, and feel free to use the chat box to introduce yourself when you first get into your breakout room. At any point, you can leave your breakout room to rejoin this main room if you want a break from the discussion, or if you want to share other ideas that are not covered in the discussion topics. There'll be a few Rebuild staff members who will stay in this main room. And you can do that by clicking the Leave Breakout Room button that's going to show up on the bottom right of your screen. If you require sign language interpretation and you haven't already directly messaged me, feel free to do that, and we'll make sure you're in a breakout room with one of our awesome ASL interpreters. Also, in your breakout room, you'll still be able to see closed captions. Just make sure you've clicked that CC button at the bottom of your screen. And we're going to have a brief closing at the end of the meeting a little before 8 o'clock, and we'll bring you all back into the large group in this main room. But people are welcome to head out earlier if needed. We're really excited to prioritize the community's voices during this discussion. So I'm going to open the breakout rooms now. And if you have any questions about this process, please feel free to stay in the main room and we'll answer them.
We're just giving a minute for breakout rooms to close, and then we'll get started. Thank you.
Just a quick question. Are we going to have more community meetings? And is it possible to have community meetings in specific communities all around the city?
Ms. D? We're gonna
Yes.
close the meeting and we're going to talk about our next engagement. That will include some instructions, some information regarding what's going to be sent your way.
Okay.
And we look forward to getting any additional feedback at that time.
Okay, no problem. And last question, are slides going to be available?
Yes, that will be, that's part of the closing.
Perfect, thank
We will
you.
share it in a few minutes. Thank
Okay.
you.
This is Aminata. I have to leave at this moment.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Miss.
Aminata, thank you for joining tonight.
Thank you so much for having us and for
Oh.
having this. I've been waiting with bating breath.
Well, we're glad you're here and hope you'll join us for future engagements.
I certainly intend to. And may
Thanks
you
so
have
much.
pleasant
Good night,
evening.
Aminata.
Hi, this
Good
is
night,
Senator
Chris.
Taglia, and I have to leave as well. But I want to thank you for including me. And if I could get a copy of the workshop so that I could send it to folks that are going to be using the facility. But thank you for allowing me to be a part of the process tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator.
Well, I can say breakout session 2 had a wonderful time on our speed dating.
Oh, it's speed dating, Julian. I love that. Feels a little bit like that. But I think we got a lot done.
Yes, we did. Breakout room 2 did have a good time.
Wow, I love hearing that. Well, great. Marangeli, why don't you close the meeting?
Yes, thank you, Donna. Good evening, folks. Thank you for your time and for your participation. My name is Marangeli Mejia Ravel. I'm a member of the Community Capacity Builders team, a Puerto Rican woman with mid-length hair and glasses in my early 50s. We're going to hold on to that. Thank you again for making the time and participating tonight. We feel we're hearing a lot of really great energy coming out of the breakout rooms. I want to first, before we get into the closing of the session, give an opportunity to a member of the PPR team, Grace Cannon, who's going to introduce a new team member. Go ahead, Grace.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Grace Cannon. I am a white woman with brown, red, curly hair. Very excited to be here. And on behalf of Parks and Rec and our commissioner, Catherine Ott-Lavelle, I want to introduce our new director of inclusion who's joined us tonight. It is her very first day. We had a couple questions in the chat about when she'd be joining. So Gwen Valade is here. Gwen comes to us from Inglis House, where she served for over 5 years as a recreational therapist, therapeutic educator, and community outings coordinator. Gwen's a certified recreational therapist and president of the board of directors of the New Jersey Eastern PA Therapeutic Recreation Association. PPR will be formally introducing her at our March 10th PPR Inclusion Stakeholder Meeting. I will put my email in the chat if that is something you are interested in attending. I will put it in the chat for everyone. And we're thrilled to welcome Gwen. And in addition, here comes my email. We had another question. We have several inclusion ambassadors. Some of them will be helping us host on Thursday night at the in-person event. Gwen will be at that event as well. And we hope to be hiring more inclusion ambassadors. We are, of course, in the middle of city budget process. And so that information will be forthcoming as we get more into sort of closure and next steps with the budget season. But it is a goal to hire several more inclusion ambassadors. Thank you. Welcome, Gwen. Gwen will be with us on Thursday, and we are thrilled that she is here. And thanks to Rebuild and everyone for a great session tonight. Maranjali?
Thank you so much, Grace, and welcome, Gwen. So our next steps. So first, we want to encourage you to encourage others to join us on Thursday for our in-person session, which will be held at the Agustin Recreation Center. In terms of format and content of that meeting, it will be a similar agenda. Those that have participated today, if you want to spend some time with us on Thursday and want to come join us in person, more than welcome to do so. I also want to mention that I know there were a couple of questions around flyers for the meeting on Thursday. We appreciate the interest of sharing it with stakeholders in your neighborhood. Flyers for the Thursday session will be emailed to all session participants that were with us tonight tomorrow. Following that, next week and our session on Thursday, next week, we will send you a recording of the presentation of today's session with a survey. And that will give you an opportunity to share with others the link, those that are not in a position to join us tonight or on Thursday, and also to share any additional feedback or ideas and priorities that you would like to share with us. So the last thing that I will share with you is to please stay in touch, both with the Rebuild team and with the Community Capacity Builders team. And in your screen, you have the contact info for Amanda Colon-Smith. Her email is amanda.colon-smith@phila.gov. And the Rebuild team's general email, which is rebuild@phila.gov. On the Community Capacity Builders team, you have contact information for Donna Griffin, Donna@ccbconsult.org, or Jenny Chen Jenny@ccbconsult.org. I also want to share a friendly reminder with all the breakout rooms facilitators to please save your chats before we wrap up the session. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and we look forward to spending more time with you on Thursday, February 24th at the Agustin Recreation Center. Thank you and enjoy your evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Great
everybody.
job.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Stay safe. Okay. Bye-bye.